Welcome to another episode of Military Spouse to Millionaire. We are going to have some fun with this episode. By now, you know Mariah, you know Emily, you have seen their podcast episodes. What are we doing today, guys? Tell the people.
Kendra is going to read some comments.
I'm going to read them, or you're going to read them and I'm going to answer them?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know there'd be reading involved. I would not have signed up for this podcast. Okay.
So, we're going to read some
I am going to address in real time.
Yes.
Outrageous. This is based on Kimmel.
Okay. So it's like celebrities reading tweets about themselves.
Yes.
Celebrity reacts to tweets.
Yes.
So
I got tea and I'm drinking tea specifically for this occasion. Yeah. Emily asked me before we started recording, you have a thick skin, right? So I don't know. I don't know what's coming for me right now. So go ahead. Who wants to start?
Zillow is lying. Respectfully, please elaborate how. Isn't the info public information?
Yes, technically speaking, it is. However, Zillow and other sites like Trulio, Redfin, all those other kind of sub-sites, they pull their data from the MLS, but then they also have arbitrary ability on their side to manipulate that data, to not upload it all correctly. Like a lot of maintenance and association fees aren't correct on Zillow. A lot of the taxes aren't correct on Zillow. Zillow and other sites, I know I'm saying Zillow a lot, but really all of the sites, they don't update in real time. They do batch updating. So I would say half, if I had to just give an arbitrary percentage based on my opinion, I would say about half of everything you see on those sites is already in contract or, withdrawn from the market, which can be frustrating, especially if you're aggressively house hunting. You don't want to be liking something for several days and then find out that it really went into contract 2 weeks ago. They don't update in real time. So yes, it's all public information, but that doesn't mean the public information is being displayed or presented correctly or appropriately. It doesn't mean that it's updated in real time. And the online mortgage calculator on Zillow and pretty much even on the MLS, which is what real estate agents use, to show consumers listings, even on the MLS, online mortgage calculators are not accurate. So there's a lot of misleading information.
Trash altogether.
There should be an open house every 3 weeks, Saturday or Sunday. We bought our house from an open house. Our neighbors bought their house from an open house. Every weekend after the first weekend is a no.
Moment of silence.
This is going to be, for reference, I have an entire podcast episode that talks about this. Open houses are bullshit. Yeah. I stand by that statement. I do think having an open house your first weekend on the market is a big deal. You're a new listing. You want to have the fanfare, the hype. Like, you should capitalize on that. And again, to be clear, if a seller wants me to have an open house every weekend, twice a weekend, I will be there. I work for you. But it is my job to convey my professional experience and knowledge and opinion to sellers that I work with. And unfortunately, open houses are a very convenient way for unqualified individuals, nosy neighbors, and looky-loos, and sometimes here in Hawaii, people on vacation.
Yep.
Come
for something to do.
Come to open house. We were on our way to the beach and we saw this sign. They're not qualified people and they're coming through your home. And sure, like I might be able to go back to you as a seller and be like, there were 13 people came through your open house today. And you're like, you're like, oh my God, that's so exciting. But if 11 of those people were nosy neighbors or just people who wanted to check it out for fun or, whatever, that's not a quality number of people. I'm not saying that no leads that are valuable come from open houses. And sure, I'm sure lots of people do go to open houses and subsequently offer and get homes from open houses. My point with open houses is it's not the make or break thing that's going to get you a buyer or not. If we didn't have an open house, like we've had storms recently, and we did not have open houses during the storms because it was such bad weather. Those listings are still going into contract because if a buyer is serious and qualified, even if you don't have an open house, they are going to have their agent request a showing. They're going to get a private tour of the home. And honestly, I have buyers that I go to open houses with. They look at the open house. It's kind of overstimulating because you have the listing agent there who's like, hi, can I help you?
It's in your
buy
face.
the house.
Yes.
And then you have maybe like literally, I just had an open house for a new listing that its first weekend on the market. We had 16 people come through the open house when that Landon sat the other day, and that's kind of overstimulating for a lot of people, and they're not really looking at the house. So what happens is they come to the open house. Their agent contacts me, said, we came to the open house. They really liked it. They'd like to come back for a private showing.
Okay.
What was the point?
So that they can actually look at the house,
which makes
empty.
more sense to see it empty.
You know,
and
like
on
just
your own.
you and your agent on your own in the house. So aside from like that fact, it is just an excuse for unqualified individuals to come into your house. And it is absolutely, I will die on this hill, it is not going to make or break your getting a buyer. I think agents overhype it as this like, and I'm going to have an open house every weekend. If that is the value add that you're bringing as an agent, you, in my opinion, need to bolster your offerings to your clients, because that should not be the linchpin to, you know, your success as an agent. Do better, just a little bit better. There are so many things we can do as agents to help sellers, help educate them, help a listing sell faster, sell for more. Having an open house every weekend is not the move, in my opinion.
Someone was very adamant about this. You have to have the down payment. Most military families don't have that.
What?
I am curious if this person is familiar with the VA loan. You can purchase a home, 0 down payment. So I guess I just don't understand where that question is coming from. They clearly don't know what they're talking about. You can choose to put a down payment. You can choose to put cash down to lower the funding fee. I mean, you can do all sorts of things, but the biggest benefit to the VA loan is that it removes the barrier to entry, right? Especially here in Hawaii. $500,000 home, if you're doing like a 20% down conventional loan, that's $100,000 that you would need to put down to buy a $500,000 property if you're a civilian. But if you're part of the, I think it's like 1% of the US population serves in our military and has a VA loan because of their service, if you're one of those lucky few who've earned that benefit, you can buy a home with 0 money down. You don't have to have a down payment.
And this just shows that people who don't know what they're talking about are commenting on things.
Like that is probably my biggest issue with some of a lot of these comments is they're just keyboard warriors that in my mind are sitting in some dank basement somewhere with a headset. They have their Call of Duty game paused and they're just like,
They're rage baiting on purpose.
because, you know, like, but I'm here for it. It doesn't highlight my ignorance.
No.
It, you know,
Actually
clearly
just helps.
it actually does. And so, you know,
Keep commenting, please.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appraiser here. This is the dumbest thing I have heard. One sale is not protecting the market. That's not how it works.
Correct. One sale is not protecting the market. The video that this was on was so good the way you clipped it and like put it out there into the world. I was talking at large, like big picture, about how there is like this culture with buyers. I think it comes from like the kind of like baby boomer generation, no shade to baby boomers, where they had this mentality that they had to like haggle to get a good deal, or like the default in every situation with cars, with home buying, with whatever, was to go in under asking price because you have to negotiate. And I think it's just a really archaic model, because nowadays in our real estate market here in Hawaii, and again, that's something that I'll mention probably multiple times with these comments, is my comments, my social media, the things that I put out there are very specific to Hawaii. I'm not talking about Iowa real estate or Florida real estate or New York real estate. I don't give a fuck how things work there. I know how things work here. And I'm talking about and giving advice and recommendations based on how things work here. So I really don't care if in 1996 in Wyoming, your grandma, blah, 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 whatever. So this comment was made to a video where I was talking about nowadays in our market, buyers are getting credits and concessions from sellers, which to a seller is the equivalent of under asking. You're not doing yourself as a buyer any favors, and I'm not doing you any favors as an agent educating you. If I say, yeah, this house has been on the market 7 days, there were 16 people that came through the open house, offer under asking price and ask for the credits that you need as a buyer or want for this interest rate buy down or to cover your closing costs or whatever you're going to use those credits for. getting them is pretty standard and they're more beneficial. Like if you got $20,000 off the price of a home, monthly payment wise, that saves you roughly $100 a month. If I just went to Starbucks less often, I could save $100 a month. I'm not going to do that. But
No.
whereas $20,000 in credit saves you $10,000 to $15,000 in closing costs that you can keep that liquid cash in your pocket, or does the interest rate buy down, which saves you, I would say on average, between $700 and $900 a month for the first year that you own the home, maybe $300 or $400 a month the second year you own the home. This isn't a podcast about the interest rate buy down. I have one. Go look at it if you don't know what I'm talking about. But my point with that video was that coming in and just the default for a buyer to be like, I'm going to offer under asking is basic bitch real estate. It is the most mediocre level of knowing the market, of leveraging negotiating power. It is just the bottom of the barrel, in my opinion. And I think consumers need to know that there are ways that they can leverage other benefits and market conditions like credits versus offering under asking that are just better. And the appraiser is saying, because my point also in that video was that if you offer under asking, it's just lowering the overall value of homes in the market that you as a buyer are investing in. Because if you offer under asking, and then the comparable sales for the last 6 months show that this house sold for $10,000 under asking, that's what the next buyer is going to use and the next agent is going to use to advise their buyers on, oh, you know, this price versus this price. And then that's how markets, not just with one transaction, but that's how markets in general can sort of lose value if people are just coming in and lowballing, offering under asking. On the other side of that, sellers agents should be advising their sellers accordingly, like, this is a lowball offer, don't take it, or, you know, whatever. But I just find that comment very interesting as an appraiser making that comment and not understanding like the dynamics of the market. Someone in the industry, you know, made that comment.
Then why didn't you buy a house? The response was, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That was my response.
I'm going to ask the internet to please, if you're going to come and try to throw shade, do like surface level research on me. I saw comments recently, 2 of them recently, that said, oh, you're a realtor. If you're coming to my page and you don't know that I'm a realtor, I am not the problem. That
But
comment.
still, like,
You guys.
talking about, oh, why didn't you buy a house? What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Why didn't I buy a house? Where? In what state? As of this morning, I have 12. My husband and I, as of this morning, closed on our 12th rental property.
She's not just telling us everybody what to do. She's actually doing what she's practicing.
In Hawaii. Right. Practice what you preach. So just to catch everyone up, if we don't know, we currently have 9 rental properties in Colorado, outside of Colorado Springs. We have 2 on this island, Oahu. And then as of this morning, we closed on our newest acquisition on Maui, which is super exciting. And we found a great property manager and that's going really well. So yay to all that. Over the 9 years that I've been on this island, starting before COVID, we have owned a total of 5 properties. So bought, sold, bought, you know, 2 of them, held them, kept them as rentals. So if you count this home that we're sitting in right now, which I own, which my husband and I own, this is the 3rd house that we've bought and lived in, and then the 2 rental properties that we've had in the last 9 years. So I am still someone who prides myself on being an active participant in this market. That I encourage people, you know, to buy in. I'm not just like, you buy here, I'm going to go buy in a different market. I very much am still a participant. And so, yes, I did buy a home. Homes.
Fucking realtor. What about resale?
What about resale?
What about
resale?
Mariah, do you want to speak on... Mariah is a past client. I'm sure you all know that because you listened to her podcast episode. Mariah is also currently in the process.
Wrapping it up. Yeah.
Oh my God, I got the email. I was like, that was fast for an
Yes.
assumption. Like,
Yes.
bravo. Golf clap for you.
And you guys.
I'm not gonna put your business out there, so don't panic. But I think that there are 3 numbers before the comma in the profit that you're making.
Yeah.
Who knows, though?
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I have the net
It
sheet.
was a shock.
True.
Yes.
So just for everyone's reference out there, if you can't do math, that means she's clearing 6 figures on the sale of your home here in Hawaii that you bought with me, that you sold with me. Also for reference, we sold it before it even hit the market.
Didn't even have to list it. It was a breeze.
What about resale?
Yeah.
What about it?
I just want to point out too, and this is what I bring up in comments all the time is you're not just pushing people into homes. You are strategically finding homes that you know is going to work for their military timeline.
Right.
Because you are a military spouse
Yes.
and you know that they're going to be moving in 3 years. So you're not going to put them in something that they can't sell in the next 3 years.
No, because then I have to deal with that shit later.
Exactly.
Just to be self-serving, of course I want the best for all the clients who trust me, but future me and future you are going to have dealings because all my clients come back to me to sell when it's time to leave, unless they get their real estate license while they live here. And then, you can sell your own house. But, I do have a very vested interest long-term in making sure that people are buying in areas and buying homes that are appropriate for their stage of life, their time here. If you move here and you're a family of 7 and you're like, we're going to buy a shit show and fix it up while we live here, you're probably not. You're probably going to be very busy with your family of 7. So I'm going to give you, you did renovate. You weren't a family of 7. But if, I talk to families and they think that they'll do things and they won't, I'm going to give you that advice, even if it means that you don't end up buying a house that you think you want. I'm not in it for the quick sale. I would rather go show you more houses and get the right one that's going to make everybody happy in the end. I want everybody to have your experience.
You can't buy a house for that in Hawaii. Other places this works, but not there.
I think if we look at our metrics, which Emily break the metrics down for me, the pie chart shows us that for the first quarter of this year, January, February, March of 2026, as well as all of 2025, E5s are actually the rank that I help the most.
You're not just working with 2 or 3 clients.
Right.
It's 130 something
Yeah,
clients last
134
year.
last year.
Majority of them.
Majority of them are E5s. That is part of the battle though, guys, is people have these preconceived notions or have been fear-mongered into thinking they can't or just aren't educated on, yes, you can. You absolutely can. Is $3,500 here in Hawaii going to get you the same type of house that you would get,
You can't
in Texas or Colorado or wherever? But you
it's a different
can't
market.
compare.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You can't compare apples to zebras.
Exactly.
It's not even apples to oranges. It's
Yeah.
you can't compare the market here to the market anywhere else, because they are vastly different for vastly different reasons. The positive, flip side to that coin is on my call that I had this morning with a client, they own multiple homes. They're coming from Virginia. She was basically like, it is against my moral code to rent. I want to buy. And I was like, oh, I love you so much.
Yes.
We love it.
I was talking to her about this topic, the short-term sacrifice that you make with maybe the home size, or homes are older here, or whatever, but this is not the forever home. I just gave her the spiel on this is an investment. This is why we're investing here. I talked specifically about one of our properties in Colorado that we sold when moving here. We owned it for 5 years. We made $65,000 when selling it. That's fantastic. We owned our first house here for 2.5 years, sold pre-COVID. We made the same profit in half the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was smaller. Yeah, it was more expensive. Yeah, it was older, all these things. But the brass tacks, again, thinking with our investment brain, not thinking with
Emotions.
I need my 10-foot couch. It was worth it to downsize. It was worth it to get over the
Absolutely.
fear, because in 2.5 years, I made the same profit as I did in a different market, slower market. Sure, a market where the houses are bigger, but I'm not in it for the big house. I'm in it, and I'm educating people to be in it for the investment, the long-term gain. Just also fun fact, we took that $65,000 from our first house. We leveraged it into buying a foreclosure here, like literally on the other side of the neighborhood that we had lived in. It had sat vacant for 5 years. We bought it for $680,000 at the beginning of 2020, which was fun because it was like lockdown. We were renovating. Like it didn't even have flooring in 2 of the rooms.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Bought it for $680,000. Owned it for 2 years, literally like to the day. We sold it the week that we owned it for 2 years. We sold it for $1.45 million.
And there you have it.
And we used that $65,000 from our first house to pay for, I would say, half of the renovations. We put, I would say, about $140,000, $150,000 into renovating it. What we used a chunk, like that $65,000 came in so clutch to help with the renovations to get that home up to that level where we could sell it in 2 years for $1.45 million. And we bought it for $680,000.
That's amazing.
We wouldn't have had that once in a lifetime opportunity because deals like that do not come around often.
No.
But we positioned ourselves to be able to take advantage when it did come. That was a huge come up for us. Like that gave us the ability to buy multiple rental properties, to buy and renovate this house, which is like a long-term house for us now. Like it set us up. It fast forwarded our investment journey probably a decade.
Absolutely.
It was
It's
crazy.
amazing.
Next question.
Horrible advice for Hawaii. I bet you also peddled Pampered Chef and essential oils.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I encourage everyone, especially as a military spouse who moves around a ton, to have a side hustle or a main hustle. But no, I never did any of the MLM, LuLaRoe or like no. Actually, before this, I managed corporate wellness programs for Fortune 500 companies for quite a few years. For a doctor based out of Colorado, I worked from home remotely when we lived in Germany. I went back to the office when we moved back to Colorado. So for a large chunk of time before I got into real estate, which has been almost a decade now, that is what I did. My thing with comments like this is why? Like what productive, intelligent exchange of communication is happening with these comments? And I think that's a breakdown. I love social media. Don't get me wrong. It's how I've grown my business. It's responsible for a lot of my success. But I think we all are just dumbing ourselves down a little bit on social media when we make comments like this.
It's easy to make a comment when you're behind a screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to face the person.
But it's like if you have something constructive to say to me, even if it's a difference of opinion, communicate with me like an intelligent, productive member of society. And that's how I feel about so many of these. You're just saying stuff that gives you a bit of an ego trip or makes you feel smart or superior without any regard for actually contributing something of value to the conversation, the post, the world, maybe. Like,
feel better now?
Yeah.
I know. You could explore other hobbies.
Maybe you could try Pampered Chef. Milspo is all I need to hear.
What does that even mean? Are you literally coming for all military spouses who support our service members, raise our children, do all of the hard bullshit that we sign up to do and do happily? Really? Like,
Yeah.
I have no words.
I have no words. Like, what does that even mean? And if you made a generalization like that about another group of people, be it like religious, ethnicity, like if I made a comment that was like Catholic, that's all I need to know, it would never fly.
Rude. Yeah.
But why? Why is someone okay to say that about milspouses? Like,
and I hope you don't have a milspouse. Like, saying that online, if you have one at home,
if that's the demeanor, they probably don't.
No,
probably
likely
not.
not. So riding on that same wave, what's wrong with her hair?
Mind your fucking business. What's wrong with your hair?
And your hair was done in that video.
Yeah.
Like, you had done it up.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, like
What are
what's
What are
wrong
you
with
doing?
that shirt you're wearing? Like,
Yeah.
why is that the comment?
I
Like,
know.
okay,
It's so rude.
clearly,
Because you've pricked their
Yes.
ego.
Yeah.
a
They have
little
nothing
bit,
else to
and
say.
They
Yeah.
have nothing else to say.
but they're just like bored and it's unnecessary. And like, part of me wants to just ignore comments like those and just not engage with them at all. But it's so egregious sometimes that I think in general, light needs to be brought to why we as a society think that it's okay to do that. Like, if I was walking down the street, you would not come up to me and be like, what's wrong with your hair?
Yeah.
But we're
If you
sitting,
were, I would think
Yeah.
you were on drugs.
Yeah, like-
there's something literally wrong with you.
right. But we can say it online on social media and it's just like accepted, doesn't raise any red flags. Like,
Then we go in and we're like,
yeah. I mean,
I'll go back to my personal account, go on there and comment back,
exactly.
And then I'll tell all my other friends to go and
attack swarm.
exactly.
Love that. Love that. Golf clap for the social media team.
Yes.
You are. You
totally
really are. Thank God, because I couldn't. The amount of traffic and comments
I know.
and things that we do on social media, like, could not do it on my own. And Duncan and I talked a little bit about that. Landon and I also talked a little bit about that in our podcast episodes about like growing the team, having the staff, having like, you know, rising tides raises all ships, just people that are on the road with me now and on the mission with me now to just sort of get the information and education out there to military families, all being military families yourselves. So it's nice to have some like backup and some
Yes.
people to like, it's a lot of comments to respond to. So I'm so grateful for you.
Also, just feels good
Yeah.
to be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, actually.
You especially,
Yeah.
you've known me longer than like most people on the team, you know, like
Yeah.
starting way back when you were a client,
2020.
you know, all those years ago. Yeah, like you've known me the longest and you definitely get my personality. So
get it,
that
yeah.
that helps.
Nah, lies. Realtors are 1 inch away from being a cartel. Military folks, be careful with these parasites.
Cartel. That's
That's pretty badass.
I know, right? I'm like
Okay.
Kendra Escobar. No, like,
Is that a compliment?
Really? I know. I was like, thank you. But also, can we use not nah? Like,
Yeah.
like can we
Bruh.
use? Yeah, can we use like
The English.
actual English, like actual word? Nah. What I have to say about the comment is nah. In all seriousness, I do think that for a period of time, the real estate community and industry did have a very bad rap, a very bad reputation. I think the National Association of Realtors has progressively over at least my last decade in this industry professionally taken, you know, steps and done things to sort of pull out of that nosedive. I obviously can't speak for every real estate agent everywhere. I think as consumers, you have to trust your gut. If you're talking to somebody and you're not getting warm fuzzies from them and they seem like they're not answering all your questions or, you know, just whatever, if any little spidey sense or red flags are going off, they might not be the right fit for you. They might, you know, not have the best business practices. Again, I can't speak for the industry as a whole. I can speak for the hundreds of 5-star reviews that I personally have. But again, someone is going online and they're making that comment about an entire industry in general, not specifically at me. And I don't know what experience they've had. They could have had some terrible, god-awful experience that led them to feel that way. But I think you do have to temper your own experience versus an experience that someone else is giving their client that might be vastly different from yours.
You know what is an ick? Going on social media announcing your icks by...
That is all social media is.
It's also
Yeah.
literally you're saying what your ick is on social media. Like, you know, it's
Pot,
ick.
meat, kettle.
Yes.
Like,
But thanks for the engagement.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Selling someone a converted motel room as their first home is diabolical.
paying $100,000 to live on post with bugs and mold and jet fuel in your water. You know,
I do.
not being able to control your own air conditioning temperature, and getting a BAH increase and having on-post housing take all of that extra money is diabolical. That shit is highway robbery. It's so fucking crazy to me. That comment, I know the exact video that comment is on. And sure, like it was number one, a single guy. It was still bigger than his barracks room.
Yes.
And he doesn't have to share it with anybody. 200% capacity up at Schofield Barracks. That's diabolical.
Yeah.
I have a video on that also. But again, like it's not their forever home. It's not diabolical for somebody to look at an investment opportunity. For him, it was bigger than his barracks room. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. I think it was like 600 square feet.
Yes.
But so what?
But
it's a
his.
single guy
That he
and
owns
it's his.
in Hawaii.
Exactly. And
he
he's
renovated it.
and
too.
he did renovate it and made it worth even more money. He hasn't even owned it for a year yet. So no, I absolutely categorically disagree. I think sticking your head in the sand and not choosing to get educated on something, especially when we're talking about 6 figures, is diabolical.
BAH is not part of your regular pay. It's an allowance for housing when you don't live in provided housing. It's not being taken. It's just not being given in the first place. Maintaining a house is expensive, especially for young military people. Not everyone wants that burden. And I know this one because I fought with this
I
person
know
for
you did. I was like, is
hours.
this the one where you went back?
Yeah.
It's an entitlement. It's not an entitlement. Like, is this that person?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I almost need you to read that again because there are so many things to address in that, and I'll pause you.
Let's break it down.
Okay. Exactly.
BAH is not part of your regular pay.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's not base pay.
No.
It's a separate entitlement.
As is
That-
COLA.
As is COLA.
Yes.
It's a separate entitlement. Continue. I'll leave it there and let you continue.
It's an allowance for housing when you don't live in provided housing.
Okay. Also true. We got really in the weeds with this person about the difference between an allowance and an entitlement.
My goodness.
They are largely interchangeable.
And
in
on
this
the DoD website,
right,
it calls it both.
which we provided. I think you're really getting semantical and wanting to feel like you're a smarty pants. Not you, them. You are a smarty
Thank
pants. Yeah, it's you could even call it an allotment for housing, basic housing allowance, but the allowance is an entitlement that the military is giving you. They mean the same damn thing. So yes, you are forfeiting that allowance entitlement. You are forfeiting that if you choose to live on post. Sure, it's not being given, but the ability to get it is still there. You are forfeiting the ability to collect that entitlement because you're electing to live in on-post housing, which is not free. You're forfeiting your entitlement, BAH, to live there. That is
I
the
think
cleanest way I can break that down.
If it's not in your hands physically, it doesn't just magically disappear.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
just magically stop being
Right.
your money.
Right.
I don't understand why people don't get that
Right.
concept.
Yes.
And that was what was driving me insane.
You're entitled to this pool of money.
Correct.
He just felt
Entitled,
like, no,
by the
nobody's
way.
entitled.
You're entitled to this pool of money if you're of a, rank that allows you to be entitled to that pool of money. You can forfeit it and live on post, or you can choose to collect it, and then you have 2 other options. You can rent or you can buy a house. But you're spending that money or forfeiting it, which in my opinion, same, basically, regardless.
Maintaining a house can be expensive, especially for young military people.
I agree. I have almost a 3,000 square foot house, single family home here in Hawaii. Previous homes we've owned here, we've had to put new roofs on. We've, had to maintenance and do other things for 100%. Obviously, this is not a house that a young military family is affording to buy. Young military families in Hawaii are buying townhomes and condos 9 times out of 10, or single family homes that are zoned like townhouses and condos.
Yes.
I think the relevancy there, and this is a very Hawaii specific thing, who, people who run their mouths about things that they don't know about the Hawaii specific things that I'm about to talk about. If you're a young military family, you're buying a townhouse or a condo, those townhomes and condos come with maintenance and association fees, which is something that I talk about at length with every incoming family. They range between $500 and I would say $900 is an average range. Say it's $700 a month is your maintenance and association fee. People are immediately like, throw up in their mouth, what does that cover? That's a crazy amount. Do I get a butler? Like, whatever. But when I break it down for people and they understand, hey, that $700 a month covers your water bill, your sewer bill, your trash bill, pays for all the common landscaping of your neighborhood, which does protect your property value. It covers access and maintenance to pools, parks, recreation areas. Most neighborhoods here have those level of amenities if they have a maintenance fee. But most importantly, and to this guy's point, person, guy, man, woman, whatever, those maintenance fees cover all of the maintenance for the home. So roofing, siding, fencing, painting, gutters, anything on the outside is covered by the association. You're not incurring the cost of those things when it's time. I have a townhouse that I'm selling right down the road. Next year, it's already in the budget. The association has been planning for it. They're all getting brand new roofs.
That's in my association too.
So yeah, so when we go to sell this home for this client who's buying this property, or even your, the person who's buying your house, they sell in 3 years, they're going to get the benefit of the property appreciation that comes with a new roof paid for by the association. Yes, via the maintenance fees, but you're buying a home and you're not having to maintenance or take care of any of that stuff. Yes, you have to take care of the inside maintenance. So if there's a water leak underneath your sink, sure, you have to call the plumber and you have to deal with it. But even if you're renting, you still have to call the landlord. You have to call somebody. The action is the same.
Yes.
You're calling maintenance, you're calling the landlord, you're calling a plumber.
But let me tell you, on post, they're not going to get to you as fast as an actual plumber is. And you could be waiting months.
For sure. Yeah.
They get mold and
Or
then you
they'll
gotta
show
make
up and put some glue on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've
Those
had that happen personally. Yeah.
hack jobs with the maintenance on post. So, yeah, I think that's just a very classic fear-mongering technique, the last part of that comment about not being able to, maintenance a home. And if you are worried about maintaining the inside of the home, purchase a home warranty. They're $600, and they cover all major appliances, plumbing, and electrical per year. $600 per year for a home warranty. If you really want the extra peace of mind for the inside of your home, I buy them for people as housewarming gifts all the time.
That's little girl math. Half of the $6,400 is a security deposit. You late need to return. Also, you aren't subtracting your HOA fees and also appliances, the occasional fridge, stove, hot water heater, maintenance floors, blah, blah, blah.
What video is this in reference to? We have a rental property here. We rent it out for $3,200 a month. And whenever I get new tenants, they literally give me $6,400 just to move into my rental. And then over the 3 years that someone lives there, like I just had an E6 renting it from us, they gave us over $115,000 while they lived there. So yes, half of that is a security deposit. That's what I was talking about in the video. I was talking about the upfront cost of renting being similar to the upfront cost of buying. So yes, half of it is a security deposit, but as a renter, you have to pay that security deposit. The $6,600 that my tenant paid for me is almost equivalent to the $7,400 or $7,500 that someone would need to put down closing costs on a $500,000 property. You're talking about $1,000 difference there between putting yourself in a position to pay someone else's mortgage for 3 years versus paying your own mortgage. Over $1,000. So I don't know if they really understood what that video was about, but I was trying to highlight the fact that people think that it is cheaper upfront to rent versus buy. And that is categorically not
when you're military.
Not the case, exactly. Not when you don't have to put a down payment towards your VA loan. But then also, sure, as a landlord, you always run the risk of an appliance breaking or this or that, but that's not what that video was about. That video was about and again, people, just attention to detail.
Yeah.
Just pay
Watch the whole
attention to
video.
the video that you're commenting on. I was just trying to highlight the upfront cost of renting and buying are comparable, if not more for renting, because if you buy, seller's credits can cover your closing costs. And then you're buying a house for just the cost of your home inspection.
Which we did. Yeah, 1.2 million for a shack.
Again, like, it's just these people who want to get on the internet and like, that makes zero sense. It just makes zero sense. There are probably millions of homes on this island that are under that amount, under 1.2 million, and are lovely, that are not shacks. Like, it's just unnecessary comments like that I'm just like, what productive conversation did you hope to start with that comment?
Okay, so we also wanted to do some positives.
Oh,
To end
okay.
this on a positive note. All these negative comments is why so many vets still don't own a home. I wish that I had listened to my ship's yeoman.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm not Navy. And he advised me to buy a property on Oahu when I was stationed there. People love keeping others down.
So true.
Yep.
And also, just on that topic, I'll just quickly throw in there that you need to be careful as a consumer who you take advice and recommendations from. If you're meeting somebody during in processing and you're from the same hometown and you're like, bro, we're from the same hometown, that does not mean that that guy is your new financial advisor and you should listen to him over, actual like, I'll come to people with like data, like hard, the last 5 years, the last 10 years, like, this is data that is not subjective, gathered by the Honolulu Board of Realtors. I can show you without question numbers. And I have people like on board with buying, educated on buying. They're excited about buying. They run into a friend from high school that is stationed here, or they get in their chain of command and they're, the Marines are really bad about this. Sorry, Marines. They'll get to their, leadership, and their leadership is like, no, don't you want to just, this happened to us personally. Duncan and I talked about this. Clayton's leadership, when we were buying our first house, Clayton was the same rank as Duncan is now. And his leadership was like, no, don't you want to just wake up 10 minutes before PT and be able to roll out of bed and make it on time to formation and blah, blah, blah. No, like, it's crazy. So you really, as a consumer, need to be very aware of who you're taking advice and recommendations from. What is their past experience? What qualifies them? Like, I have to bend over backwards to tell people about my qualifications, about the data that I have that makes this make sense. But someone comes in and validates with no data or information whatsoever a fear that someone is having, because buying a house is scary. Like, I'll just, address that elephant in the room. So, like, you're scared about doing something. I'm showing you all this information as to why you shouldn't be scared. You're starting to, like, get it. Someone comes in, validates the fear, and immediately we want to just...
It's easier to give in to fear.
Go to the safe space,
absolutely. Yeah.
Just be like, but Billy Bob said that it's not a good idea.
Yep.
You don't know Billy Bob. And he's given you no data. You could argue that you don't know me either. But to be fair, I talk to clients months and months and months before they arrive on this island. And I'm giving them concrete information, data to go off of. Sorry, I just had to have that tangent.
And you have a whole team of people, and you have all these reviews that back up
what I'm saying.
a good person,
Right.
a good realtor. Like,
Right.
I don't understand where people are just like, oh, I met this guy in processing, and I think that he's correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything he says
Yeah.
is correct.
You don't know him.
What do you
He could be flat broke, have 7 ex-wives, not be paying his child support.
Terrible
Like,
credit score.
you don't know this person. Like, but they feed into a trepidation or fear that someone is having, and it's easier to sometimes go with that than to be like, no, look at all this actual,
I'm gonna do this.
We talk about it in my episode a lot, where it's like, I came into it afraid of the risk, and I don't like taking risk, and it's easy to like see all the negatives
Your
and be
episode.
like, but all of this, like, why would we do that?
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Your episode was hilarious when you were like, this girl's not going to get me.
yeah, I don't want to listen to this call. I'm not going to talk to them. I don't want to make eye contact.
Avoid.
And here we are.
6 figures later.
Eating my words and just learning. It's. We've talked about this too. There's no sacrifice-free option.
Sure.
You're sacrificing when people go on the comments and say, yeah, but when you live on base, you have your school, your grocery store, your house, you're 10 minutes from work, la-di-da-da. I'm like, that's like a Truman Show. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I lived that in Colorado. And
Right.
my husband, who is a service member, hated the fact that he was
Never
living
away.
on top
Yeah.
of where he works.
But also, like, aside from the work aspect of it, bitch, I know where you live. You are 10 minutes from your kid's school. You
I
are
am.
10 minutes from
Yeah.
the grocery store. You are 10, you know what I'm
And
saying?
it's a phenomenal school,
yes.
off base.
Yes.
So.
We're on an
Yeah.
island.
Nothing.
Really that far.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Why would you,
But also,
get out of your house?
Why would I want to be like on post where, you know, I can roll out of bed and be, you know, just a couple minutes away from work? Like, be an adult. Like, it's okay to not just wake up and go straight to work. Like, wake up, get coffee, you know, chill out for a minute, and then drive to work. Like, it's not that different.
No.
Like everywhere around the world, people do that.
Yes, exactly.
Civilians do that all the time. Like, just fucking do it.
Jeff Bezos is not having like giant campuses where his Amazon employees like
live.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
weird. It would be weird, but the military dynamic is different, you know, so we think that because we're sheep sometimes, and this is, you know, a table of Milspo's. We are a little brainwashed sometimes to think this is the right option, you know, and
It's your autopilot.
Yeah.
I trusted Kendra and her process. We purchased with her years ago and we're very happy with everything. We're now selling. We listened to her recommendation.
Mariah, is this one you?
No.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
We posted our home for sale and had a full price offer within 48 hours from the first family that looked at it. Trust the process and thank you, Kendra.
Not during an open house for reference.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Interesting.
That's so good. Oh.
We bought and kept our houses. We now have 3 paid off rentals. Minimal out of pocket. However, we do maintain all of our houses in top condition.
Love that.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, golf clap for that person. And like, that is such a solid retirement plan.
Yes.
Like, it's part of a huge part of our portfolio. Like, the passive income that we make from rentals is more than Clayton's 22-year retirement from his military service.
Take notes.
Like,
Amazing.
that's crazy. That is, and the fact that ours aren't even all paid off yet.
Yeah.
They're paid off
Yeah.
and
Cash
just
money.
cash flowing at that
Yes.
point. Huge. And the younger you start, Duncan and I talked about this in his episode, you guys already own 2 houses. You own over $1 million in real estate.
That's so
Isn't that
crazy. Crazy.
You want to know how much
In your
I own?
20s.
No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I would literally have to do the math. I mean, quick math, like probably close to like $6 or $7 million in debt. That I have. I know there's good debt, there's bad debt. People, don't be ignorant. But you're so young, and the reason I mentioned that was not to highlight that you're young, because I know I give you a hard time about that a lot.
No, I
but
don't find
It's impressive.
You're in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
If you even just have 30-year mortgages on these homes and let somebody else pay for them for the next 30 years, you will still be, to be honest, almost my age now. You'll be slightly older than I am now and have at least 2 paid off homes before you're 50. That would then just cash flow you.
I don't use being young as a crutch.
Good.
And you shouldn't
Oh,
either.
that's
Yeah.
that needs to be a clip.
Frame it.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus, put it on a loop. Like, that was seriously.
Oh, man.
But we talked about that in your episode. We won't really
Yes.
dive into that too much. But like, yes, that is so true. Amazing words. Okay, ladies. Well, this has been
This is fun.
This is
so
good.
fun. This might be a series.
Yes.
You won't be here for many more of them because you hate us and you're
I'm gonna zoom
leaving.
in.
Right? I think that's a good idea.
would
We
totally
can
do it, yeah.
like the
We
team
can do
podcast
Jenny,
for
yeah.
Jenny. Yeah, I would love that. But thank you both so much.
Thank you.
I hope it was helpful or at least entertaining for all of you out there. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I wouldn't have any of this if it weren't for all of you. Bye, guys.